Welcome to Reality Creative Video. I'm Hermes, and today I'm going to cover a few extra things like I did in the last show. Let's see. I want to talk about, I got a question about what do you do when he's just starting to take colloidal gold, and he's wondering about the effects of it. And that brought to mind my procedure that I've developed to when I'm doing a new colloidal that I've never done before. And I figured I'd pass this procedure on to you because it's pretty darn good. It alleviates the anxiety that you might get over taking a new colloidal. There's always, some trepidation with new stuff like that. So this is what I've developed over time. So, as you know, this is colloidal titanium, and this is my latest invention, if you want to call it that I've been testing. And I've actually been drinking this now. But, the way I begin with a colloidal that I haven't used yet is the first thing I will do for 24 hours, I will put it on my arm here. Just take a swatch of it, and put it on the arm. And I'll do that at various points during the day for 24 hours. And if I don't get any rashes or itching or anything like that happening, I then move to phase 2, which phase 2, I will take a small amount, about a teaspoon, okay? I don't know if you can see it, but about a teaspoon. I'll take a small amount, put it in my mouth, and, I just swallowed it, but I'm going to I'll swish it around in my mouth until it's all absorbed into the tissues of my mouth. And if I don't, I will do that a couple times during the day, as long as I don't have any ill effects from that, like something going on in the mouth. And then once that test is gone by for 24 hours, then I will start with a teaspoon, and I will drink it and see what happens. And then follow it up, another teaspoon. And 24 hours, 12 hours later or 24 hours later. And then slowly increase my dosage of the colloidal to what I want it to be. And that is, I find, is a pretty safe way of introducing yourself to new colloidals in your body. Whether you make them yourself or you buy them and you're not sure of the effect, it minimizes what I call anxiety over taking something new. So that might be very helpful to you guys. Basically, I've given a lot of my different colloidals out to a lot of people, and I've really not had any negative reactions from them. I had one comment, a girl, she's zinc. Where's my colloidal zinc? Okay. She has zinc. She tells me zinc gives her upset stomach if she takes zinc. So I gave her the colloidal zinc. I said, well, see how you do with the colloidal zinc. It's not the same as iconic, so there's no digestion involved with colloidals. So technically, you really shouldn't be any effects whatsoever. But anyway, she commented that if she took the colloidal during the day, she had a little bit of an upset stomach, but she was perfectly able to taking it at night before bed. So I don't know if that's the only report that I've gotten from colloidals, people taking the colloidals. Of any kind of a reaction. So take that as it may. There's colloidals I find are very friendly for the body. The reason they're friendly for the body is they're suspended particles. They're already in the water. Your body doesn't have to digest them. It just absorbs, the particles just get absorbed into the body where it's needed, and when it's not needed, then they're removed from the body through through bodily stuff, through urine, basically. It's one of the reasons that I'm pretty sure that you cannot build up colloidals in your body. It's like it's like vitamin C. It's only there as long as the water is present in the body, and then it flushes out. So that means colloidals become a daily thing. If you want to keep the benefits of the colloidals in your body, you need to probably take them every day, a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons, depending on the colloidal. The colloidal that needs the biggest dosage, I find, is the gold in order to get the greatest effect. And well, unfortunately, the gold is probably the most expensive colloidal that's out there, because gold is not cheap. And like I said, I will do a tablespoon, maybe 3 tablespoons of this a day in order to get my limitless out of my mind. I can get by with certainly less, just to uncloud my mind and get the anti-inflammatory benefits of colloidal gold, maybe a tablespoon a day, or a teaspoon a day. You have to see what your body needs with these colloidals. I mean, there's some play there. You can just go by, the general rule is start with a teaspoon and see what happens. Maybe you might have to go to 3 teaspoons or more. I mean, like the magnesium, I find the colloidal magnesium that I make is not extremely strong, so I have to take probably a half a shot glass of the colloidal magnesium at a time, which is, I don't know, what's this shot glass say? 20 milliliters of the magnesium in order to feel any kind of effects from it. So they're all different. Whereas the gold, I take the gold right away, and 30 minutes later, less than 30 minutes later, I feel, a teaspoon. Even if I take a teaspoon of gold, 30 minutes later, I'm feeling the effects of it right away. And silver is a silent. Silver is like a silent guy. You need to take the silver for the antibacterial, antiviral stuff. And if you don't have it in your system, you're going to be susceptible to getting these things that are going around right now, or that are very potent. And so I would definitely recommend that even though you don't feel any effect from taking colloidal silver, you make sure that you have at least 1 or 2 teaspoons of colloidal silver, or 3 teaspoons of colloidal silver a day in it. And if you feel that you're come in contact with something, or like someone has come down with something and you've had contact with them, then I would increase my colloidal silver to 3 tablespoons a day. Colloidal silver, luckily, is about the cheapest of the colloidals, so it's not going to break your bank. It's the easiest to make, too, yourself. I've done videos on making colloidal silver. I'm planning a bare bones video on colloidal silver. I haven't gotten it together yet. For those of you that don't have a lab and may only have a 9-volt battery and a piece of silver, and I'm going to do a video on how you can get started with colloidal silver very quickly and easily and cheaply, just like using a 9-volt battery, some distilled water, and a piece of silver, which you're probably going to look at an investment of about $20 or $30, depending on the cost of the silver. So that's another upcoming video that I'm planning to make for you guys. Some of the other stuff is a little bit more complicated to make, as you know. But silver, I think anybody can make silver if you reasonably want to. So one other thing I'm been experimenting on, and then we're going to call it. This is my new container for to keep my wires in, so I know what I have now, because I have so many different wires now. You can usually tell the difference, but stainless steel and titanium are really hard to tell the difference at a first glance with that. I did a couple shows on anodes. Now, as you know, the way the colloidals work, you have an anode and a cathode, and the electrons will flow from the anode side to the cathode side, and then the cathode will be relieved of the material, which will go into the liquid and be attracted to the anode. And in the process, we hope that this material that's being liberated from the cathode side winds up going into the liquid and being trapped there. That's colloidal electrolysis. So I got gotten one question about colloidal electrolysis, which was I had the cathode and anode mixed up. And no, that's not the case. I just want to reiterate. With electrolysis, the cathode and the anode are reversed because of the way the electrolysis process works. The anode becomes the cathode and the cathode becomes the anode. And so for those of you in electronics and things like that, that know about negative and positive charges, you're going to say, oh, no, he's got that wrong. But no, with electrolysis, if you do a search on the internet, you'll find out electrolysis, it's reversed. So anyway, I've been experimenting with anodes. I've tried different kinds of anodes. Now, you can use any kind of anode you want because the anode does not lose material. The anode will only gain material, if anything. And the idea is to prevent the anode from gaining any kind of material whatsoever, because the more material that the anode absorbs is the less that we're going to get in the water. We want to trap this stuff in the water. So the kind of anode you use can make a little bit of difference there. So I've experimented with using the same kind of anodes, like silver and silver, copper and copper, gold and gold, okay? I've also experimented with using copper as an anode. So like silver and copper and gold and copper. And I've also experimented with using silver as an anode, like making copper and making silver as the anode, and copper and zinc and silver. So I've experimented with different kinds of anodes over the time. But the anode that I've recently come across that you're going to find really surprising, that I think works really well with electrolysis, where is he? There he is carbon. Ha ha, you're not going to believe it. Carbon, out of all of the metals I've used, this is a piece of carbon. Out of all the metals I've used, carbon is the most promising anode I have used. Why? Well, because carbon is not a metal, but it is highly conductive. So it gives me a lot of electrons coming off of the carbon. And it offers very little appetite for the colloidals to attach to it because it's not a metal. So a lot of the colloidals will go into a lot more of the colloidals seem to go into the solution more quickly when I use a carbon rod. And when I take the carbon rod out, it's not coated with anything on it, like if I use a copper anode and I'm doing gold, I'll get gold on the copper anode. If I'm doing silver and I use a copper anode, I get silver on the copper copper anode. I always get a little bit of that stuff attaching itself. But with the carbon, I do not get anything attaching itself. In fact, the colloidals cook much faster. Now, I haven't tried carbon with gold. I got to do that. I got to watch that. The gold process is tricky. It can cook real fast. But I've used it with the other metals, and I am extremely pleased with using carbon as an anode. So for those of you, carbon is very cheap that make colloidals. For those of you that make your own colloidals, carbon is really cheap. I will put a link in the description to the carbon that I'm using on Amazon, and you get yourself some carbon rods, carbon stuff, and cut them up and use them as anodes and try it yourself. Well, that's what I want to talk to you today about. I think I covered enough. I want to thank all of you for visiting my channel and watching my videos, and I will continue to deliver them. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I'm shooting for that forum that I get at 500 subscribers on YouTube to give you a forum. Anyway, I'm Hermes. This is Reality Creative Video, and I will talk to you again soon.